All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to NFL Player Props Live Week 12 edition. I am your host, Tassos, and we are here to talk player props, break them down, so on and so forth. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great morning thus far. If you've never been here before, it's pretty simple how we go. I have some player props to go ahead and share with you guys that I've kind of already pre-selected. After I give those out, I'll then open the floor to you guys to go ahead and offer up your suggestions. We'll use Outlier. We'll go ahead and use the data that we have and kind of go through and see, do we like them, do we not? If we like them, we'll, of course, add it to the play sheet. We don't, obviously, we won't. And then at the end of the video, we'll kind of build a couple community parlays, usually mostly touchdown player prop parlays. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan for today. I hope you guys are having a great one. Going to give people a few minutes to, as I usually do, give a few minutes for people to go ahead and join the chat here. You guys have any initial questions, go ahead and fire them off while we kind of let people find their way into the live stream. We might be having Ev join us. We might be having Trey join us. Obviously, we're trying to see, trying to see if they'll join us eventually, but obviously we'll start solo here for now. And then if they want to join in later, they can. Why are y'all up so early? Listen, scared money don't make money, all right? We got to be up early and make money, guys. Come on. What's the plan? I just said the plan. Like I said, we're going to start off. I have like 5 or 6 player props I've pre-selected. I'm going to share those with you guys. And then after that, the floor is yours. You guys throw every suggestion you have my way. We'll go ahead and plug them into Outlier. We'll kind of explore them, see the positives and negatives, if we should ride with them or fade them. And then we'll close off with some community parlays. I'm not ready. I just want to get my coffee first. It's brewing. Hey, listen, you got a couple of minutes here, guys. We're going to let people trickle in. I've got some stuff to set up on my end here to make sure we're good to go. So take your time if you need to as we sort of get going here in the live stream. But like I said, I hope you guys are having a great Sunday thus far. I know I am so far. A little bit of a late night last night out with some friends. And it was a bit of a struggle getting up this morning. But you know what? The people deserve player props. By the way, how do you guys like the new microphone? This is my first ever video with the studio upgrade here. We got the new Shure mic. And I did some audio testing, obviously, before we went live. I think it sounds pretty good. Definitely happy with this. Shout out to the Shure brand. Really great microphone. Was looking forward to this upgrade for a little bit of time now. No, this is not NBA. This is NFL. A lot of people have been asking for NFL, and obviously we only do usually on Sundays live, so I want to make sure I cover them. But depending on what time we finish here, and I don't want to make any promises, but we did go 3-0 last night, and I'm thinking maybe we have to do another NBA video. I usually don't do NBA videos on Sundays, but considering we went 3-0 again last night, I kind of feel like you have to go ahead and run it back, right? You can't just not run it back after going 3-0 yesterday. So we'll see. Again, all depending on how this live stream goes, how long we're in here for, and I still have to do Sunday Night Football picks, which I will be honest, we are on a bit of a cold streak on Sunday Night Football. So we definitely need to get a win today. So I have that video to do also. So we'll see if I can get everything done in a timely manner, because I do have plans with the family today, with my girlfriend. If we can get things done in a timely manner, we'll get an NBA player prop video out today, as well as this live stream and Sunday Night Football picks. Won a lot of money with you. Yeah, listen, last couple days has been really good. So NBA, we went 3-1 on Thursday. That was just single bets, right? Just straight bets. 3-1 on Thursday. Then we had our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay on Friday, obviously. It was a plus 630 5-leg parlay. We cashed that. And then yesterday, we had a 3-0 sweep single bets again. So I know the Freaky Friday, we use alternate lines. So if you want to count them, you don't. But technically speaking, I've handed out 12 player props in the last 3 days in the NBA, 11-1. The only one that missed was on Thursday, and I can't remember exactly who it was. Oh, it was Zach Edey. We had Zach Edey over, was it 21.5 points plus rebounds? He finished with 20, but he had like 19 in the first half, had 1 rebound and no shot attempts in the second half of that game. I believe they played Sacramento. It was a blowout. It was never close. So that was unfortunate. But we have been on a very good run here. So hopefully, and then college football yesterday, last week I had my worst college football day ever in the history of betting. I think it was like 3-12 or 4-11. It was awful. And then yesterday, we ended up going 9-7 in the overall picks video, which is like our non-ranked games, ranked games, which we were looking good, better. It was like 9-4 to start, and then the later games did not go our way. Still 9-7, we made money. But then Clash of the Titans, which is the videos where I kind of do it like how I do for Sunday Night Football picks, right? I do individual breakdowns for the games. I did a video for Missouri, Oklahoma. I did a video for Oregon, USC. I do it every single week. So if you guys haven't checked out the video series called Clash of the Titans, I went 5-1 on those 6. I handed 3 picks each video, 3-0 in the Oklahoma, Missouri video, 2-1 in the USC, Oregon video. So 5-1 for that. So if you include all of our college football picks, the Clash of the Titans picks, as well as the just general college football picks, we went 14-8 yesterday. Pretty good. And then obviously last week's NFL, I went 8-4 my single bets, 5-1 on teasers, 1-2 in parlays. But of course, the parlay I hit was a pretty decent sized parlay. So, Oracle, we're up, I don't know, like over 20, almost 30 units profit this year, I believe. Something in that ballpark of 30 units profit. College football, if you do take Clash of the Titans and the overall picks, were up over 14 units profit. Again, these are rough numbers off the top of my head. But we've been doing pretty good, guys. Especially the last week or so, we have been making a lot of money. So if you've been watching, besides Sunday Night Football, where it's just been a struggle lately for us, we have been on a pretty good run. So I'm just doing a couple little things real quick just to get started here. And in about a minute, we'll start diving in. I have about 5 player props right now that I've gone ahead and selected for you guys that I've, using my research, I found, and I'm pretty excited to talk about. And then, like I said, and I'll be quick about it, after we do those 5 player props, I will open the floor to you guys, and then we can go ahead and sort of get started. So just real quick, kind of getting things settled on the YouTube end, making sure we are looking professional, because we are professional here. Not really, but try to be. Let's see. Add our thumbnail in here. Like I said, you guys got any questions, anything you want to say right off the bat, go ahead and throw those out as we do our last couple cleanup things here. All right, on the YouTube end, I think we look pretty good. Like I said, I'm not sure. We'll see. I think Trey was supposed to come on. I'm not sure if he still is. And then Ev, I obviously, he comes on with me most of the time here, but we'll see. The guy goes to 97 weddings a year, so may not be available this morning. But he's the hardest working man, though. I got to give him credit. So I'm not, if he can't make it, he can't make it. All right, let's see. All right. I don't want to bore you guys because obviously we have things to get to. You guys have your Sunday as well. I don't want to waste your time here. So as I just finished getting set up, all right, I think we're good to go. So let's go ahead and dive in here. I've got 5 player props to go ahead and share with you guys for this Week 12 NFL slate. And then again, like I've mentioned like 9 times, my biggest flaw, I would say, as a YouTuber is I repeat someone called me, I forget what video it was yesterday, was like, this guy repeats himself so much. I think he's autistic. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. But, all right. So let's go ahead and dive in here. I'm just going to share my screen real quick with you guys, and we will get started here. So, let's see. Colts moneyline mega luck. I agree with you. If you guys watched I'm just going to keep plugging all my stuff here. If you guys watched H to H this week, which is the pick show that myself and Ev, we do head-to-head, obviously. The name of the show is head-to-head. My pick I gave out was Colts moneyline. I gave it on the Oracle as a spread pick. I love the Colts this week against the Chiefs. A lot of people don't. I do, though. But we're here to talk player props. So let's go ahead and get after it here. Starting off, our first player prop in today's video comes from the Jets-Ravens game, 1 p.m. kickoff today. And I'm going with a page out of Ev's book. One back-to-back picks with the MB. Yep, yeah, we've had a good day. We all on the spectrum. We're all, yeah, exactly. We all are there in some capacity. But all right, so Nick Folk, trying to stay, like I said, this is as you can see why that person commented it. I get distracted very easily. Jets-Ravens, 1 p.m. kickoff. Nick Folk, over 4.5 kicking points. Obviously, this is Ev's kind of specialty, is these kicking props. I do love this spot here for Nick Folk here against the Baltimore Ravens. So over 4.5 kicking points, which I'm grabbing from -136 over on DraftKings. You can adjust it a little bit to find it on your sports book. You can go to 5.5. I think there you have it on FanDuel Novik. So you can adjust it slightly. Obviously, I'm taking for the best odds that I can get it for myself personally. So 4.5 best line for -136. I'll absolutely go ahead and take that. And the data is very good across the board here for Nick Folk. 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed this over, averaging 7.1 kicking points per game over the last 10 games. And I think they played 10 games this season. Yeah, so 80% over the last 10 games, aka 80% on the year. For those at home who don't know what kicking points is, that's field goals plus extra points. So an extra point, and this is simple math here, 1 point for extra points, 3 points for field goals. So, if the line here is 4.5, we need him to get 5 kicking points. So a field goal and 2 extra points, 2 field goals, that would do the trick here in this spot. And you do see he's averaging, like I said, 7 kicking points per game this season. So all we need him to do is cash his average, and we're good to go here in this matchup. And the Ravens right now, bottom 4 in the NFL, which is obviously a good thing for us here in terms of kicking points allowed. So they do give a lot of points, which it makes sense because you look down below here on the right side of the screen, the Ravens defense hasn't been great this year, but they do sort of strengthen and kind of batten down the hatches in the red zone, right? You see here 15th in red zone efficiency, and that number is improving as the weeks go along here. So once you get in the red zone here, they do play much better. Now, the Jets, obviously, 23rd red zone efficiency offensively. So I think the Jets should be able to move the ball in this game. I talked about this on the Oracle briefly. Tyrod Taylor, obviously, starting. The Jets have benched Justin Fields. So, yes, the numbers don't look great, but the Jets are still a top 5 rushing offense. Will that change with Justin Fields not playing? Because, obviously, he runs a lot as well. Remains to be seen. But I do think with Tyrod Taylor in their quarterback, with Breece Hall, with the running game they have, they should be able to move the football on a Ravens defense that, although it is improving, from a numbers perspective, they still aren't great. 24th in passing yards allowed, 20th in rushing yards allowed. They don't really have a great pass rush necessarily. So I think the Jets will be able to move the ball. When they get down into the Ravens territory, can they finish drives and score touchdowns? Unlikely based off the numbers. So that's why Nick Folk kind of comes into play here. 2 field goals, honestly, is very realistic in this spot. If you go down below to what previous kickers have done, by the way, the insights provided by Outlier, Nick Folk has exceeded 4.5 kicking points in 7 of his last 8 games, averaging 7.4 kicking points per game over his last 8 games. Again, the last game against New England was the second time all year he's failed to cash this over. You look at some other kickers here. I'm not even going to attempt to say that name. We'll just say the first name. Andre, the kicker for the Browns, had 10 kicking points last game against the Ravens. Will Richard for the Vikings had 7. Of course, in this spot, that cashes the over for us. Riley Patterson for the Dolphins had 6. Cairo Santos for the Bears had 10. So you have seen for this line in particular, 4.5, 4 straight kickers have cashed it. Now, again, the elephant in the room, the Bears offense is way better than the Jets offense. The Dolphins offense is a little bit better than the Jets offense. The Vikings offense, again, not great, but better than the Jets. And then the Browns are probably on the same level as the Jets. So, and Andre did have 10 points last week. So, across the board, I think it's a pretty good matchup spot. And again, for -136, I think the value is certainly there. What do you guys think about our first prop handed out in today's video? So it's 1 of 5 that I have. And like I said, then we'll open the floor up for you guys to go ahead and throw your picks out there. But yeah, I don't usually do too many kicking props. Like I said, this is more of an ebb thing to do kicking props, but I think the value is too good in this spot to pass up. So it's our first player prop, and I actually have another player prop from this game. So my second prop in today's video that I'm handing out to you guys, and my second prop from this game, we've got Zay Flowers of the Ravens over 59.5 receiving yards, which I'm grabbing for -128 best odds over on DraftKings. And again, guys, if any of these player props you have a hard time finding, you can easily just adjust the line a little bit. You can add a yard, subtract a yard, and you can find it on your own sportsbook. So I have it at 59.5. My computer will cooperate here. There we go. And we scroll down here, and this is Outlier, by the way, guys. Check out Outlier. Great tool. As you can see, a lot of great numbers and great data coming from Outlier here. But yeah, you can slightly adjust it. You can go to like 62.5, and now you see it's available still in a lot of the same sports books, but smaller odds. So it's kind of up to you. Obviously, I like to find the best chances of hitting. So we go a few yards less, 59.5. I think is very realistic. And the data is very strong. Similar to the last player prop, 8 of 10 games this year. He's cashed the over, averaging 70 receiving yards per game this season. So same thing as Nick Folk, right? Just hit your average. Just do your average game and you cash the over. Okay, 80% hit rate on the season, averaging 70 yards per game. The 2 times this year he failed to cash the over was week 3 versus Detroit, and then here on October 12th versus the Rams. If we go down here, look down below at the usage rate, right? How many targets is he getting? How many catches is he getting? Per game this season, he's averaging 7.1 targets per game, and he's catching on average 5.3 balls per game. It's a 75% catch rate. So pretty good numbers, pretty good efficiency here from Zay Flowers. Now, I will mention right off the top, last 3 games, five receptions, 5 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets. So his targets have gone down a little bit as Lamar Jackson has returned. They've kind of moved back to being more of a run-heavy team. But as you can see above, he still cashed the over in all 3 of those games. So even though his targets have gone down, and even his catches, last week he had just 3 catches versus the Browns, and yet he had 78 receiving yards. He doesn't need to have 10 targets, 11 targets, 9 targets to cash his over. As long as he gets in the ballpark of 5 or 6, we should be good to go. He's averaging 13.7 yards per reception, so he's a big play guy. Obviously, with the way their offense runs, how effective they are between Lamar and Derrick Henry running the football, play action passes are a staple here. Zay Flowers is obviously a very athletic receiver, can get himself open. And even look, the insight provided by Outlier, Zay Flowers has exceeded 59.5 receiving yards in 6 of his last 7 games, averaging 67.4 receiving yards per game over his last 7 games. And we go down below here. Like I said, target share is massive. Okay, 71 targets this year. It's a 27.8% target share. Look at the overall pie here for the Ravens. And again, look at this huge chunk occupied by Zay Flowers. So gets a lot of work here. They don't throw the ball a ton. Like I said, look at the rush versus pass rate. This team is well above league average in terms of run rate. But regardless, he still gets enough work in this offense to like this. And the key thing here, now, if you look at the right side of the screen here, if we flip this, right, we just talked about the Jets offense versus the Ravens defense in the last player prop. We go ahead and flip this to the Jets defense versus the Ravens offense. And you do see that the Jets defense 12th in passing yards allowed per game, right? So obviously they're stronger defending the pass than the run. Well, this is the overall season data. So this takes into account the majority of the season where the Jets had the best, or if not the best, one of the best corners in the NFL in Sauce Gardner. Obviously, he's no longer here. So the secondary is undeniably weaker, and you have seen in the weeks since the Sauce Gardner trade that Jets pass defense has not held up as well. Now, last couple of weeks, okay, Jerry Jeudy, Jerry Jeudy, 78 receiving yards on November 9th against the Jets. I believe that was the first game without Sauce Gardner. I could be mistaken there, but I believe that was the first game without Sauce. 78 yards to Jerry Jeudy, which isn't a ton, but obviously in our spot here, we only need 60 yards. So if Jerry Jeudy getting passes from Dylan Gabriel can get 78, Zay Flowers catching passes from Lamar Jackson is very gettable. Last week on Thursday Night Football, Stephon Diggs, 105 receiving yards. If that didn't help you out, the second option at wide receiver, Mac Hollins, 64 receiving yards. Demario Douglas, 36. So receivers last couple of weeks have been going pretty well against the Jets defense. Even before the Sauce Gardner trade, Jamar Chase, 91 yards, who was obviously the number 1 receiver for the Bengals, catching passes from old man Joe Flacco. Xavier Legette, catching passes from Bryce Young, 92 yards. So even and again, Sauce Gardner had a bit of a down year before the trade. Now, was that because of a talent thing, a skill thing? Was that, him not being dialed into this team? Who knows what it was? But obviously the Jets, at least the number 1 wide receivers, as we've seen, fix the mic there, as we've seen over the last several weeks, the number 1 receiver in each of the last 4 or 5 games has gone 90, at least 78 yards or more. Again, we'll go through that one more time. Stephon Diggs, number 1 receiver for the Patriots, 105 yards. Game before that, Jerry Jeudy, number 1 wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, 78 yards. Jamar Chase, the week before that, number 1 wide receiver for the Bengals, 91 yards. Take another game further. Back to October 19th. Carolina Panthers, number 1 wide receiver. Well, okay, probably Ted McMillan would be the number 1 wide receiver in that case, but obviously he's a rookie, so a little bit different circumstances here. But Xavier Legette, 92 receiving yards, right? So you've seen that at least the 1 or 2 guy against the Jets over the last month, they've cashed their over pretty consistently. So it's a pretty good spot to go ahead and back a consistent casher in Zay Flowers. And yet the fact that Rashad Bateman's not playing also, that obviously just means probably more work for Zay Flowers. Again, I don't know how much they're going to lean on veteran DeAndre Hopkins and Tylan Wallace, but obviously I think Zay Flowers definitely. The biggest concern would be that they just don't throw the ball much in this game at all because the Jets kind of stink. The Ravens should blow this team out. I think the spread's 13.5 points, so the books are telling you it's probably going to get ugly pretty fast, but I think Zay Flowers will get 60 yards. Again, 60 yards. We're not asking him to get 80 or 90 or 100. 60 receiving yards from a guy that, again, has done it in 8 out of 10 games this season and is averaging 70 yards per game, I don't think is that crazy. Let's look what happened in those two games versus the Lions and versus the Rams real quick before we move on to the next prop. So the Lions game, he only had 3 targets, 2 receptions, so just not a lot of work in that game. He finished with just 13 yards, so that was his worst game of the year. The Rams game, he had 10 targets and 6 catches, but he finished with just 46 yards. So he had a lot of work in that Rams game, just nothing big. The Lions and Rams are both pretty good teams. I would not say the Jets are anywhere in the same ballpark as those two. So I think we're looking pretty good here. What do you guys think about this one? That's our second player prop in today's video, and our last one from this Ravens-Jets game. Don't want to spend too much time talking about this one because if I'm being honest, I don't know if you guys, I have the YouTube TV Sunday ticket thing. So I like to do the quad screen. What are your thoughts on the quad screen? I have a lot of mixed opinions. I personally like it. The key, and this is not to brag, the key is having a big enough TV. Like if your TV is not large enough, I understand the frustration with the quad screen because, obviously it's hard to, if you're watching on and I'm not trying to shade anybody, no judgment whatsoever. We all come from different backgrounds. But if you have a 40-inch TV, the quad screen's not for you, respectively, unless you're standing right up next to it. Right, but 50 inches or bigger, pause. Anything above that, though, a quad screen honestly works pretty well. So, Cash Day and nobody guarding him, yeah. I don't even know who the Jets corner 1 is at this point because they still have I don't know how long Will Johnson last played for the Jets, but I think was he there this year? Didn't they just trade him too? Flex on my pro. Listen, like I said, no judgment. And realistically, you just move closer. If you do have that 40-inch or smaller TV, just put your seat up closer. But I'm saying the perfect situation for the quad screen is, you got to have that bigger screen so you can see. Because if you're squinting to see the top left corner or the bottom left corner, then what's the point of it all, right? But personally, I use the quad screen. I do like it because a lot of people also do the red zone route. I used to be a big red zone guy. I'm going to be honest. Now, if anything, in the quad screen, maybe I'll put the red zone in the bottom right corner if, I'm not feeling a specific game. But, I typically, I like the quad screen personally. But that's just me. I do like being able to kind of dart my eyes. Now, my family, for example, my mom and dad, they hate it. When I watch games with my parents at my parents' house, they hate it because, of they get overstimulated pretty easily. Myself personally, I like because I like to see all the action going on. I obviously have bets going on all the time, all these games for the most part. So, I like to be in all the action. Anyways, that's my rant on quad screen in Sunday ticket, which I am pretty happy with for the most part. All right, let's move on. Our third one. We have three props left, and then we'll open the floor here to you guys to go ahead and share. We are next up. We got Jerry Jeudy. We just obviously talked about him a few minutes ago. Jerry Jeudy here for the Cleveland Browns. The Browns-Raiders game, 4:05 p.m. kickoff. Jerry Jeudy over 35.5 receiving yards, which I'm grabbing from -111 over on DraftKings. Again, guys, if you can't find it on DraftKings, just go ahead and adjust the line slightly, and you'll be fine. I think this one, if you even go up to 39.5, now you can grab that on FanDuel, no vig. Now, obviously, the odds are a little bit plus money, but honestly, I don't hate this line either. What do we add? 4 receiving yards? We might have to make a call an audible here mid. Oh, we're calling the audible. I'm calling the audible. I don't know how I missed that in the research. My apologies for that. The data doesn't change. It's the exact same thing for 4 more yards or 5. Yeah, 4 more yards. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take the plus money. So let me go ahead and adjust that. And again, all these plays, guys, will be posted in the website, GuyBostonSports.com. I'll have all of these final plays, as well as the plays that we pick from you guys. They will all be put over on the website. So adjusting slightly because we're not going to pass up free money. Jerry Jeudy over 39.5 receiving yards. This game, and I feel like I'm throwing a lot of shade at people today, and I don't mean to. I'm not trying to I didn't choose violence when I woke up this morning. But unless you're a Browns fan or a Raiders fan, you kind of have to put something on this game to make it worthwhile. Right? You got to put something on this game. Like, if you're watching this game, Raiders-Browns, out of the goodness of your heart, just because you're a ball watcher, I give you all the credit in the world, because I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I can sit through this whole game. To see Geno Smith and Shedeur Sanders battle it out for 3 hours. If I don't have something on this game, I might probably go watch something else like Eagles-Cowboys, perhaps. Just saying. So I feel like, for me, the best way to watch this is to have a little action. And I think this is a good place to start as a player prop here. Jerry Jeudy over 39.5 receiving yards. He's cashed in 5 of 10 this year, so it's tricky. All right, I'm not telling you this. It's a plus money for a reason. All right, I'm not telling you it's my favorite prop of the week, but he's averaging 35.6 receiving yards per game, so he's around that line. It's a tale of two halves of the season, right? Because you have some games where you got 78 yards versus the Jets, 66 yards versus the Bengals, 51 versus the Ravens, but then you also got 0 versus New England, 21 versus Baltimore the second time they played, 17 versus Green Bay. Like, he either can get you 70 to 80 yards or get you 10. All very realistic outcomes. Now, to be fair to Jerry Jeudy, he had Joe Flacco in the beginning of the year, and now obviously you see 3 of his first 4 games he cashed it with Joe Flacco. And then they moved on from Flacco, and he's had Dylan Gabriel and half of Shedeur Sanders to throw to. Not exactly the situation you want to be in if you're Jerry Jeudy. So we'll take that with obviously what it is at face value from a head-to-head perspective. And this player prop, I'm being honest, guys, is all about the matchup. The data is not very good. It's okay at best. This is all about kind of fading the Raiders and understanding how bad the Raiders are and sort of hoping that Shedeur Sanders against a pretty bad Raiders team can do something in the passing game. Acknowledging that obviously Shedeur Sanders, who knows what he's going to be. I've been on the record. We talked about it a little bit on the Oracle this week where it's like with Shedeur, I don't think he is like, you're either on two sides with Shedeur Sanders. You're either on the side of, here I go completely getting distracted again from the actual pick itself. You're either on the side that you love Shedeur so much that you defend all of his weaknesses and all of his wrongdoings, and he's not like a terrible human being, but he's made some stupid decisions in press conferences and the way he carries himself, kind of stupid at times, okay? Immature, and he is a kid at the end of the day. He's younger than me. It's crazy to say. But you're either on the side where you're so pro Shedeur Sanders where he can do no wrong in your eyes, or you're so anti Shedeur Sanders where you don't give him any credit. You think he's the worst quarterback who's ever touched a football and he shouldn't be in the league. I think there's somewhere in the middle. Maybe leaning a little bit towards the right side a little bit in the sense that he's not that good. I'm obviously, as you can tell, I do college football picks. I'm a pretty big college football fan. I watched a lot of Shedeur Sanders at Colorado. I didn't think he was that great. I think he wasn't bad. I think he deserves to have an NFL roster spot. I think he's good enough to be in the league. Is he a franchise quarterback? No. Is he going to be a career starter? No. I think he's going to be a backup quarterback until teams get tired of him, because he is the type of guy where I feel like he could have a long career as a backup, but with the way he carries himself, some teams may kind of shy away from that. He'll be in the like XFL or UF, whatever that league is, within the next 10 years, I would assume. I don't think he's that great. He didn't do enough at Colorado to impress me. Like they never won big games. He always shrunk in those big moments. So that's my take on Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if anyone really needed to hear that, but that's just me. Going back to this player prop, though, I do think against this Raiders team, he can do something here. Now, the last time the Browns played the Raiders last year, Jerry Jeudy had 72 receiving yards in that game. I don't even remember who was the quarterback last year for Cleveland. Was that Deshaun Watson early in the year that was thrown to him? Either way, he had 72 yards the last time they played. And this is the key right here. So go to the right side of the screen. Everything I've said so far really hasn't made my case. This right here is why I like the spot for Jerry Jeudy. Overall this year, the Raiders are 17th in the NFL in terms of receiving yards allowed per game, giving up over 230 yards per game. Okay. We narrowed it down just the wide receiver position, 27. So this is a bottom 5 or 6 team in the NFL in terms of receiving yards allowed per game to the wide receiver position, giving up 164 yards per game. Their run defense actually hasn't been terrible. The Raiders, their run defense has not been awful. Okay. 15th in the NFL in terms of yards per game. If I go over the dashboard and Guy Boston Sports real quick, I try to find this Raiders game. All right, Raiders, Browns, where are you? Right here. The Raiders' run defense is actually 15th in DVOA. Now, to be fair, their pass defense is also 15th in DVOA. But this is a pretty decent Raiders run defense. I think if you're going to beat the Raiders in this game, you're going to stick around, you're going to have to throw the football a bit. And I do like that spot. Now, you do see overall this year, look at 2025, look at the numbers here. Now, the Browns, they do actually throw the ball a big amount. Now, this is because they usually are losing a lot of the time, which, means they have to throw it quite a bit. But Jerry Jeudy, 21.4% target share. And the only other wide receiver close is Isaiah Bond at 9.1%. The other two are tight ends, Harold Fannin and David Njoku. Okay? In terms of wide receivers go, the next wide receiver is 40 targets fewer. Now, they use a lot of tight end sets. I understand that. But I think this is a game where Jerry Jeudy can do some work with a rookie quarterback looking to prove himself. I think considering the matchup, who is the Raiders' corner one? Tell me, because I don't. And I watch a lot of football. I can't name him. Genuinely. I don't think that Jerry Jeudy's going to have a tight coverage in this game. I don't think that he's going to have a tough matchup. I think, and actually, if we go back to the dashboard, you see Jerry Jeudy, fairly easy matchup from the matchup analyzer we have over there from our NFL dashboard. Fairly easy matchup. Okay, not the easiest, but a fairly easy matchup. It's not a tough spot here. This Raiders pass defense is not very good. So, number one wide receiver on a pretty bad team. Whether they win or lose, they're going to have to throw the football a decent amount here. And the insight provided by Outlier also tells us Jerry Jeudy has exceeded 34.5. Now, obviously, we're getting at 39.5, but he's exceeded 34.5 receiving yards in 5 of his last 6 games on the road, averaging 47.2 receiving yards per game over his last 6 road games. So, like I said, is it my favorite player prop of the week? No. But for plus, ESPN Bet has it plus 130, FanDuel plus 126, Novik plus 116. For all these plus money plays, plus money value, for a guy to get 40 yards receiving, he could do that in 2 catches. 2 catches. So I like this spot here for Jerry Jeudy as our third player prop in today's video. Let's go ahead and kind of catch up on the chat. I have 2 player props left, 2 left, and then we'll open the door, and you guys can go ahead and send all of your picks my way. So let's go ahead and catch up with the chat quickly because there's a lot of stuff that happened while I was talking there. Let's see. Red Zone be ahead of all their networks. I do like Red Zone. I've grown off it as I've gotten older because the thing is, I like to be – the quad screen is the game changer. If it wasn't for the quad screen, I would still be a Red Zone guy. But it's the fact that you have the quad screen where you can actually – because I like to watch the games. Like, the thing with Red Zone is they just cut so quick. It's like I'm just getting into the vibe of that game, and then cut. We're into the next one. I like to actually watch. So when you have the quad screen, you can still get multiple actions for multiple games. And then, you get to stay on it for a while. You don't have to just cut to the next thing. You can actually sit with it for a little bit and watch the replays and watch everything. So the quad screen has changed everything. It changed my whole perspective, if we're being fair. So that's my thought there. Quad screen in the corner. I got Red Zone in the quad. Yeah, I mean, Red Zone in the corner I think is the best way to go about it. You put the 3 games you like the most, and then you put Red Zone in the corner, and that way you get the best of both worlds. In that spot. My girl hates the Red Zone as well. Yeah, Red Zone, it's tough. It is a lot going on. So, especially not to be ageist here, but, my parents are older, older people, that's a lot going on, in a short period of time. Especially my dad. My dad is a big time, I want to watch one game, old school, and stick to that one game. He's straight off the boat from Greece. Okay, he's an old school guy. He wants to watch his one game, and he's on that game for 3 hours and no changing back and forth channels. He'll find out the replays and the scores afterwards. All right, let's go ahead and see. Like I said, kind of going through before we dive into our final 2 props. I'll be quicker with the next 2 props, I promise. Jalen Carter, sack revenge spot. Yeah, Jalen Carter, obviously week 1, he played, 1 or 2 snaps, and then got out because he spit on Dak Prescott. Perfect timing. It's Shador time. Yeah, well, listen, we'll see what happens. Keep it going, my guy. Appreciate that. Yo. I'm a Raiders fan. I'd rather watch some random kids play T-ball. Listen, one of my best friends is a Raiders fan, diehard Raiders fan. Every outfit he owns is silver and black, and I know for a fact that he's not looking forward to this game. And I already have it on good authority that if Shedeur Sanders beats the Raiders today, he's going to go MIA for a while. He's going to log off for a while. Let's go ahead and see. Again, kind of just catching up here. I was thinking Genti under 53.5 rushing yards in Cleveland. That's also not a bad play. And again, we can look at that in a few minutes and kind of break that one down after we finish up these last two player props. Love him or hate him, it is what it is. And that's what my thing is. Like, I don't care enough. Like, Destiny still arrives. All right, Thanos. Maybe. Listen, I'm a big Deion Sanders guy. Like, I love Deion. I love his personality. I love when he was at Barstool working with them. Coach Sanders, I have mixed feelings on. But obviously in the NFL, he's a legend. I've never had a thing against the Sanders family. But, you know, some of the ways he's carried himself, I've not been a huge fan of. But Genti rushing attempts. Again, we'll kind of go through all these plays later. I think he deserves a shot and a fair one. I just want to see him succeed because people keep dogging on him. I mean, yeah, I am kind of getting to that point too. Because, you know, it is to the point now where I feel like it's getting a little bit unfair. Like, I feel like people are dogging on him. And, like, he's brought it on himself because, obviously, the way he talks about himself with the watch celebration, the way he carries himself, I get it. I totally understand. But, you know, I get it. I understand why he gets the hate he gets. But at the same time, I hate seeing the hate, but he does make some pretty bad mistakes. He makes bad mistakes on the field and off the field. And I think that's one of the big issues with him. And that's why he opens himself to some of the stuff. But we can learn from the mistakes. I think he has enough arm talent to learn from them if he puts the work in. I agree. And I'm not rooting against him. If he comes out and is a superstar, this is one of those instances where if I'm wrong on a take, I'm happy to be wrong on a take. Like, I'm happy to be wrong on a take if if it means that this guy has a great career and we get another great quarterback in the NFL. So I'm not rooting against him. That being said, I'm not necessarily rooting for him. I'm very mediocre. I'm not mediocre. I'm very in the middle on that. All right, a couple more before we get going here. Let's see. Not even as good as some teams' practice squad units. Yeah, their secondary is pretty bad. All right, pretty bad. Let's see. How you been, Tosses? I've been good. I've been doing good. Broken Arrow Keys. Good to see you, my friend. Been doing pretty good. I can't complain. Let's see. Why don't you do live for NBA? Guys, I wish I could do live more often. I really do. If you guys don't know, I own a pizza shop, so I work at full-time in a restaurant as well as do this. So I work 50 to 60 hours a week in the pizza shop, and then I also do this. So I literally, like yesterday, for example, right? I did Oracle. I did NBA. So I woke up at, like, just to give you a peek behind the curtain of how my day goes, I woke up at 7:30, which is a little bit way late for me if I'm being honest, 7:30 Eastern. Got up by 8 o'clock. I was in the studio. Started recording around 8. Takes about an hour or so to do the Oracle. I already did the research the day before. Recorded the Oracle. Did NBA player props. So that, NBA player prop videos usually take me around 25 to 30 minutes to record, edit, upload. It's pretty quick because it's a pretty quick process. I've done it for a few years now, so it's pretty easy to do it. So long story short, wake up at 7:30, 8 a.m. I start recording. Takes me 2 hours between doing the thumbnails and putting the posts on the website and stuff like that. So 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I did 2 hours of work in the morning yesterday on 2 videos. Showered, got ready for work. Got to work at 10:30ish, and then worked from 10:30 a.m. until 9:30 p.m. at the pizza shop. So off the top of my head, I think it was 11 hours. So that's a 13-hour workday basically yesterday. And that's why I don't go live as much, is because I just don't have the time for it. I do between 12 and 15 videos a week here on the channel, not including this live stream that I do on Sundays. So, it's a pretty big workload. Obviously, I do the best that I can, but I would love to do more live streams. I really would. It just, my schedule, unfortunately, at this time doesn't allow me to do more live streams. I think it's hilarious when you all say the way he carries himself. He's a young, rich MFer. What you expect? Well, listen, but then you can't. This is my thing, though, and this is the thing with the Shedeur fans. Like, you can't act the way that you do with the whole, the watch celebration, and then when Dylan Gabriel got the starting job over him, the way he was talking, the way he was, he was miming himself, like he was, I get it. He's a kid, but you know what? You can't act that way, and then you see what happens. Like you act that way, and you go 4 for 16 passing against the Ravens, whatever it was. You're gonna get hate for it, and you're gonna get criticism. And like he acts like he is, he carries himself with the swagger of Deion Sanders. The difference is that Deion Sanders was an NFL Hall of Famer, one of the best players of all time. That is not Shedeur Sanders. Even in college, like he was a solid quarterback at Colorado, but he wasn't even one of the 10 best quarterbacks in college football. I'll say it. I don't think he should have been a first-round pick. I don't think he should have been a second-round pick. Would I take him over Tyler Shue? Absolutely, but I don't think he should have been drafted as high either. Anyways, my thing is like what does he do carry himself? I haven't seen anything wrong. Like the miming video is a perfect example. When he was miming himself, when he was when the Dylan Gabriel won the starting job and they asked him what he thought about it, and he literally was like, come on, dude. That's you can't do that. Anyways, all right, enough Shedeur Sanders talk. He was definitely top 10, Brody. All right, maybe top 10. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm being a realist. Like, if you watch Colorado football, okay, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this right now. He is the son of a Hall of Fame player. He is the son of a Hall of Fame player, but he's not a Hall of Fame player. At Colorado, what exactly his jersey retired, all that stuff, what did he do? I said, I already told you guys earlier, I think he deserves to be in the National Football League. He deserves to be an NFL quarterback. He is good enough to be on a roster. But he carries himself like he should have been the first overall pick, and he's not. He's not. Wasn't even close. Go back and watch Colorado film. I don't care what he does against Delaware. I don't care what he does against Colorado State. I care what he does against the better teams, and he always shrunk in those moments. And I feel like everyone has always made excuses for him, but I think his point was that if you can't say anything nice, don't say. I'm trying to be both sides. Okay, I don't hate the guy. I genuinely don't. I'm just giving you both. I understand why people don't like him. I understand why people do like him. I'm just telling you, like, you can't carry yourself with that kind of swagger, but not back it up on play. And I don't think he does back it up completely. He carries himself with the swagger of Patrick Mahomes, but you haven't done anything yet to care. In college, whatever. You want to carry yourself like that in Colorado, whatever. But in the NFL, you can't come in the NFL as a 5th-round pick and act like you're hot shit. That's all I'm saying. But this is what I mean. Like, how many excuses are you going to make for the guy? Like, he had Travis Hunter, like the 2nd overall pick in the draft. Arguably one of the 3 or 4 best wide receivers in college football. Like, yeah, the offensive line wasn't great, but like they also were playing in the Big 12. Not exactly known to be a defensive-heavy conference. Again, I'm not saying he had perfect situations, but Josh Allen played at Wyoming. He still shined. That's all I'm saying. Don't bring up my blue hens like that. Cam ain't doing nothing. He's a first-round pick. The Titans are giving up like 9,000 sacks per game. And their best wide receiver was Tyler Lockett, who is now the 3rd or 4th wide receiver on the Raiders. Cam Ward is going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. There's a difference. Go watch his Miami film last year. He was off the charts last season at Miami, and his defense sucked too. Where's Miami's number 1 wide receiver? I didn't see a Miami wide receiver go top 3 last year in the draft. Travis Hunter went top 3. Cam Ward plays on the Titans. Come on. He couldn't even beat out Dylan Gabriel. Travis Hunter's overrated in the NFL, but in college he was a baller. Let's not get it twisted. Anyways, we're spending way too much time on the This is why I didn't want to do the Shedeur Sanders talk, because I knew it would open a can of worms. All right, how am I contradicting myself here? Let's move on, because we could spend an hour debating Shedeur Sanders, and I honestly wouldn't mind doing that, but obviously we are here to talk player props, not Shedeur Sanders pro or against. End of the day, my final thing. I'm not rooting against him. If he is a successful quarterback, I will be happy for him. If he's not successful, I understand why. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Bro, where are the picks? Let's get back to him. All right, we got 2 more player props real quick, and then we'll go ahead and share with you guys, open the floor to you guys. So, our 4th player prop here. I love this one. I saw somebody mention earlier, Kenneth Walker obviously hurt. We got Zach Charbonnet of the Seahawks over 10.5 rushing attempts, which I'm grabbing for -135 over on BetMGM. And the data is phenomenal here. So whether he plays with Kenneth Walker, whether he doesn't play with Kenneth Walker, the numbers look pretty good. 78% hit rate on the season. He's averaging 11.67 rushing attempts per game this year. So pretty good numbers across the board. Now, obviously, Kenneth Walker, looks like he's probably going to play. You look up here on the report, he's still questionable as of now with a glute injury, but he has been practicing, and he's in line to play. So he's going to play, but he's obviously not 100%. How is that going to affect things? Beyond the fact that Kenneth Walker's hurt, you also add to that the fact that they're playing Tennessee. Shout out Cam Ward, kind of bringing it full circle here. The Seahawks should crush the Titans today. I think they're also 13.5-point favorites in this game. They should crush this Titans team, and if that's the case, you could see them run the football a lot early, and Charbonnet could get some extra work here. And like I said, whether Walker plays or not, he's still getting this, in 7 to 9 games. Versus the Bucs, he had 9 carries, and versus the Commanders, he had 8 carries. Every other game, he's had at least 11. So pretty good numbers here. In Tennessee, you look at rushing attempts against, if we go ahead and refresh the screen here, 25th in the NFL. Teams are running against them 28.6 times per game. Seattle, obviously, a 52% run rate, well above the league average. And then you look at the last several games here. Woody Marks, running back for the Texans, he had 18. Vidal had 12. Taylor had 12. Ramondre Stevenson, 18. You did see some of the backup running backs go lower, but again, they get a pretty good workload. Look at the overall season numbers here. Charbonnet and Walker. Now, Walker is running back 1, clearly from the numbers, okay? 44.3% run share for Kenneth Walker, but still, Charbonnet, 34.2%, 105 carries. So he has 31 carries fewer than Walker, but the fact that he still has over 100 carries this year, clearly this is a run-heavy team. He does get a lot of work here. So all we need for him here is to get his average, 11 carries. Just do what you've been doing all year long, and we're good to go. Again, considering that Kenneth Walker is 100%, I don't know how heavy Seattle will lean on Walker in this spot, knowing that he has this glute injury. So I do think this is a good chance for Charbonnet to get some carries. So that's our 4th player prop here. Kind of disappointed listening to your takes. Again, I'm not hating on the guy. I don't want him to fail. I'm just saying that, like, I see both sides of it. Like, I understand the people who are saying he can be good. I do think he has talent. He has the athletic tools. He has the capabilities. But again, you carry yourself a certain way. But then, like, you can't get mad when he gets the hate he gets. He opens himself up to that. Dylan Gabriel doesn't get the same hate, and he's hasn't been a shining example of success. But he's also quiet. So all I'm saying is, like, for the people who are, like, defending Shedeur Sanders, I understand that you like the guy, but, like, you have to understand when you have a player who is so vocal about himself, who does carry himself in that sort of cocky manner, when he doesn't back it up, you're going to get hate for it. And that's all I'm saying. Again, I want Shedeur Sanders to succeed. I don't want him to fail in the NFL. If you're asking my honest opinion, do I think he will succeed? I'm not so sure. That's it. But that's it. And we'll end it there. Let's go on to our final player prop here. So we got one more, and then you guys go ahead and give me every player prop you want to go ahead and cover. My last one here is Travis Etienne over 46.5 receiving yards, which I am grabbing for -112 over on FanDuel here. And the numbers are pretty good, again, on this one. All these player props, and it's almost like I looked for this, have pretty good data. 80% cover rate on the season for Travis Etienne. He's cashed at 8 of 10 games this season, averaging 72.9 rushing yards per game. Last 3 games, he's cashed it. Pretty good data across the board here for Etienne. The Jaguars, this is another quarterback who I'm not very fond of personally. I just think Trevor Lawrence has been a bit, but I don't think this is controversial at all. He's been a bit of a disappointment. You add to the fact this is not a very good offensive line. The receiving core is a bit of a mess right now. They have been very run-heavy of late. So you have a team that has been very successful running the football, run-heavy offense of late. I trust Travis Etienne a lot in this spot. You see by the pass and rush rate numbers, they are a little bit above league average in run rate. And this is a decent matchup. Not the best matchup we've seen, but a decent matchup here. Rushing yards allowed in general, the Cardinals 16th in the NFL, giving up over 112 rushing yards per game, versus running backs 19th in the NFL, averaging 99.1 rushing yards per game. So again, it's not like a crazy good matchup. This isn't like bottom 5 ranked defense and run defense, but they are in the bottom half of the league ETN last 5 games on the road, as you see the insight provided by Outlier. He's cashed in 4 of his last 5 on the road, averaging 73.6 rushing yards per game over his last 5 road games. And he obviously has a clear, massive advantage in terms of the run share. You see 52.2% run share, 154 carries this season. You see that pie chart there. A lot going to Travis Etienne. And if we go down below here, look at some of the last games, you see a lot of green. Okay, McCaffrey, 81 yards. His backup running back, Brian Robinson, cashed his line, 24 yards. Zach Charbonnet, who we just talked about, 83 yards. Kenneth Walker, 67 yards. Javonte, 83 yards. Josh Jacobs, 55 yards. So you just kind of go through the last several games here, and you do see running backs having a decent amount of success against this Cardinals run defense. All we need from ETN here is 47 yards. That's it. 47 yards. He cashes the over. We go home happy with some money in our pockets. So that's this play here. And the line's low. I think the line is pretty low here. They need him to be effective in order to win this football game. Again, leaning on Trevor Lawrence, not exactly a winning strategy at this point. So I do like Travis Etienne here. This is my final player prop that I have pre-selected for you. All right, so that should be it. So what do you guys think? So those are all 5 of my picks. Now this is your time to shine. Now let me know down below in the comments what you think of these plays thus far. Do you like them? Are you riding any? Are you tailing any of these plays? Let me know down below in the comments. Okay, guys, let's move on from the Shador. This was a mistake. This was a bit of a mistake. We opened a can of worms here talking about Shador Sanders. Your time to shine. All right, Chase Brown, under 53 rushing yards. I have seen you, Levitate Music, offer that up a few times, so let's go ahead and break that down. Guys, this is your time to shine here. Any props you want researched, you want discussed on the show, this is your time to go ahead and do it. Let me go ahead and clear up my filters here just so we can make sure we get all the plays that we're looking for here. So Chase Brown. And the line that you had it for was under 53. Controversial topic. It is controversial, and I understand why it's controversial because he is a well-liked guy. Like he has a pretty good following, and a lot of that comes from just like I said. His personality is enticing. Like as a fan, like it's cool to see a player carry himself that way. All I'm saying is like don't be surprised when he gets hate when you act like that cocky manner. Which again it is a Sanders family staple. It's not like Deion was never like that in the NFL. But my point was just being like Deion was a Hall of Famer. When you do stuff like that in your Hall of Famer, it's a bit different than when you're a 5th round, 3rd string quarterback doing it. You're going to get some hate. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to shoot anybody down who's a Sanders fan. Should Bronny behave the same way? This is the one area where this is the difference though. Like Bronny James to me is, and listen, if you guys have watched before, I'm not a huge LeBron guy personally. Jordan to me is my GOAT. But Bronny, I think, has done the best job possible of like, he's not out here like saying like, imagine if Bronny came out here with Shador's attitude, like obviously like he'd get criticism. No one's really criticizing Bronny because he's quiet and just trying to build himself in the league, trying to make an image for himself, trying to make a career for himself. I'm a fan of Bronny. I hope Bronny succeeds, and the same way I hope Shador succeeds. Because first and foremost, as a fan, it's pretty cool to see the son of an NFL or NBA or any sport Hall of Famer dominate the sport. It's the coolest thing in the world. When Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. were both dominant, it's awesome. I root for those kind of things in sports. It's always a cool thing when father and son dominate a sport. I hope Bronny James is good. It's good for the league if Bronny James is good. I hope Shador Sanders is good. Do you know how fun it's going to be if Shador Sanders is a good franchise quarterback and you see him in prime time and the way, like I said, I'm hopeful that he can be good. I'm just saying, if you're asking me my opinion, I'm not sure. Anyways. All right. You should debate sports. I don't know. I mean, based off of this, I don't think people are really loving it, but, you know, I'm always down to talk sports. This is a fair point. LeBron is, and this is the one thing I will say about LeBron, and this is, I'm a big Jordan guy myself, but LeBron James is one of the most, for how good he is, at worst, he's the 2nd best player of all time. He's one of the most humble players you can find. The guy never gasses himself up, and that's the one thing I can definitely say about LeBron. And I think I think it's a fair point. You see it in how Bronny James acts, and you see it in how we see it in how Shador acts. Like Shador, obviously, like LeBron and Dion, both dominant, but very different sides of the spectrum, right? LeBron, one of the most humble guys. Deion Sanders, I don't know if he knows what the word humble means, but we can agree to disagree. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Sorry, guys. I kind of got sidetracked there with the Shador talk. I apologize to the person who asked for Chase Brown. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, Chase Brown under rushing yards. This live stream was going well from a schedule standpoint, and then we opened the Shador Sanders talk, and then we lost track of time very, very quick. Jordan wasn't humble, but the difference, what I'm saying, and this is the point, is like Jordan wasn't humble, but Michael Jordan, in my opinion, is the best basketball player to ever step on a basketball court. There's a level of and even LeBron. Like if LeBron wasn't that humble, I wouldn't be mad about it because he's LeBron freaking James. He's LeBron. Like if you're that level, like this is like I'm not mad that Dion does it. Dion was one of the best players to ever play the game. I'm not mad about people having swagger and having a cockiness to them. My point being, like you have to back that up. If I go out there in a Sunday, and obviously totally different, but if I go in there in a Sunday basketball league and I just talk shit the entire time, but then I shoot 1 for 19 from the floor, you look stupid. That's my thing. Like I don't care that Jordan talked trash. He's Michael fucking Jordan. Sorry to swear, but he's allowed to. You know what? I think I got to take Shador's over today. I think just to kind of have that synergy and just kind of come together, I think I'm going to take Shador Sanders over in passing yards. And you know what? We'll look at that real quick after we do the Chase Brown one. We'll look at Shador Sanders over in passing yards. I'm with it. Again, I'm not a hater. I hope he succeeds. I'm not sure it'll happen in a realistic sense. Chase Brown under. Oh, we are way off schedule here. Chase Brown under 53.5 rushing yards. So this is one of the ones that you guys suggested. Minus 112 over on FanDuel. He's cashed in 7 of 10 games. Pretty good, averaging 51.9 rushing yards per game. He's cashed in the over in 3 of his last 4, though, so you have seen the numbers uptick a little bit. Let's address the real reason why I like this player prop. This is the best run defense in the NFL. Shout out my New England Patriots. Number 1 rush defense in the NFL, 84.7 yards per game versus running backs, number 1, 58.5 rushing yards per game. This is going to be fun. Look down below here. Okay. Running backs against the Patriots. Breece Hall had 58. That's a pretty high number. Okay. And that's Breece Hall. Pretty good running back, 58. Rashad White, 38. Bijan, 46. Quinshawn, 19. Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears combined 40. Okay. This New England run defense has been electric. They've shut down better running backs than Chase Brown. And he has been playing very well lately, and he obviously is, the go-to guy. Samaje Perine, it looks like he is doubtful. So obviously that means probably even more work for Chase Brown here, who has a 66% run share. And they do run the ball not much. Okay, very high pass rate. I'm going to go ahead and make the executive decision. We're going under here. I like this play. The last time he played New England last season, he had 11 yards, to be totally fair, in that game. Let's see how many run. He only had 3 carries. But this is the best run defense in the NFL. If you're going to beat the Patriots, it's got to be through the air. I don't really see Chase Brown having a big day on the ground. Not many running backs have had big days on the ground against New England. So I do think the under 53.5 here for minus 112, also pretty good value, is a good play. This run defense has been unbelievable this year. And again, I don't think Chase Brown, if any running back's going to break it, I don't think it's going to be Chase Brown personally. What do you think about the running back duo in New England? What, Stevenson and Travion? I mean, if Ramondre could just stop with the fumbling, that's it. Like I like the running back. I think Travion Henderson's a superstar in the ranks. I think he's going to become a really special player in this league. Personally, again, a Patriot fan bias, sure. But as a Notre Dame fan, also watching him kick our ass in the national title game, Travion obviously very good player at Ohio State in college. Do his attempts, not yards. Who? Chase Brown? I don't like doing attempts under bets. I'd rather just do the rushing yards. I think it's probably the right play. All right, I told you guys to do Shador Sanders, so let's do Shador. This is the last we're going to talk about him. And we're not even going to talk about anything else except for his. Ooh. All right, what do we need to adjust here? All right, let's get rid of that. Okay. Shador Sanders passing yards. Let's see. Where is it? Right here. All right. So obviously the line is going to be very, very low, and we could probably even adjust it a little bit. This is minus 144. We'll go a little bit higher. 157.5. Minus 112. Pretty good value there. Obviously, we have no data to go off of, guys, because he's played one game. He had 47 yards in the second half versus the Ravens. We're basically just going off of the Raiders matchup data. 19th in passing yards allowed per game. So, again, not a very good pass defense here. The run defense, as we mentioned earlier with the Jerry Jeudy prop, the run defense is pretty good. So they're going to be able to slow the Browns' run game down. They have been a run-heavy team, actually a pass-heavy team for the most part this year. The one scary part here is because he's starting and it's his first start, you wonder how much Kevin Stefanski is going to let him just go for it. Typically with a young quarterback like this, coaches would be a little more conservative. They put the training wheels on. It is only 158 yards, which in the modern NFL, 158 passing yards shouldn't be that hard to get. I'll rock with the over because I think this Raiders defense is pretty bad. And whether they're winning or losing, he's going to have to throw the ball a decent amount in this spot. So we'll add it there, and that'll be the end of our Shedeur Sanders talk for the day. All right, let's see. What do we got? Jonathan Taylor over 100 yards. They're playing the Chiefs. I'm probably going to let's see. Jacoby Brissett over 1.5 touchdown passes. All right, we'll take a look at that. All right, Jacoby Brissett. We're doing over 1.5 touchdown passes here. Passing touchdowns. There we go. All right, over 1.5. It's minus 115 on ESPN bet, so pretty good value here. He's cashed it in 5 straight games. He's averaging, if we go to the last 5 games, obviously 2 touchdown passes per game over the last 5 games. Marvin Harrison Jr. is out again today, so that obviously is something to take into consideration here. The Jaguars, 29th in the NFL in terms of passing touchdowns allowed per game. 2.1 touchdown passes to opposing quarterbacks per game on average. Go down below here. Now, Herbert had 0 last week. That was a rough game for the Chargers, but prior to that, Davis Mills had 2. Geno Smith had 4, and then Matt Stafford had 5. So we need 2 from Brissett here. This is a pass-heavy team, 63% pass rate, which is well above league average. Obviously, the James Conner injury did not make things easier for the Cardinals. It made them kind of become a pass-heavy team. I don't think they wanted to be necessarily, but they've had injuries to the running back room. Marvin Harrison being out definitely scares me a little bit, but this Jaguars defense, as you can see, they are giving up quite a few touchdown passes per game, and they're 26th in passing yards allowed. So this is a team that defends the run very well, not the pass so much. So we'll rock with it. I'm good. I'm game with it. Let's see what the insights say. Yeah, he's exceeded in 5 straight games, averaging 2 touchdown passes per game. Looks to be a good matchup. The Cardinals at this point, they obviously they need to throw some prayers out there because they have not had the season they hoped for. So yeah, I like it. They're a pass-heavy team. This is not a great Jaguars defense. I think 2 touchdown passes is not a bad look here. Yeah, like he's throwing the ball 34 times. They have to. I mean, they have Judkins, which is pretty good, but Gabriel threw 52 times. Yeah, no, they have been pass heavy. That's fair. Tommy Reese, former Notre Dame guy. Yep. No, I agree with that. I'm just typically most NFL teams would put the training wheels on the quarterback. This is obviously the Cleveland Browns, so we're talking about a totally different scenario here. All right. Jameson Williams over 60.5 receiving yards. He's gone over his numbers last 2 and looked the Porter out. Okay, we can look at that. We'll do 2 more player props, and then we'll close out with our anytime touchdown parlay. All right, so we'll get 2 more in here. This might be one of those 2. Jameson Williams. All right, what line did we have this at? You said 60.5. We can go ahead and look at that. 58, 60.5. All right, 60.5. 61.5. All right, 61.5. All right. So 61.5. He's cashed it in 5 of 10 games. 5 of his last 10 games, which is also obviously 5 of 10 this year. Like you mentioned, he's cashed in 3 straight, including each of his last 2 games. 88 yards versus the Eagles, 119 versus the Commanders. Pretty good. Actually, we narrowed down the last 5. 4 of his last 5 he's cashed the over, averaging 67.8 receiving yards per game over the last 5 games. So pretty good numbers there. From a matchup perspective, the Giants this year overall, 21st in receiving yards allowed versus wide receivers, 28th. So bottom 5 defense in the NFL in terms of receiving yards to opposing wide receivers. So it is a good matchup spot here for sure. Target share, he's number 2 behind Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra obviously dominating the target share, 31.4%. Jameis Williams is second, though, with 16.7. And obviously, he has now overtaken Sam Laporta because Laporta has been out. If we look at the last couple games, you see here last 2 weeks, 7 targets versus the Commanders. He had 6 catches. And 7 targets versus the Eagles. He had 4 catches. And the target share there, 20%, 18%. We can go ahead and put a filter and show games without. We'll go ahead and put Sam Laporta, who's on injured reserve. And so far this year, and we don't have much to go off of, but he played 1 game so far this year without Laporta. He had 88 yards versus the Eagles. And last year, he played 1 game without Laporta, and he had 124 yards against the Jaguars. So we don't have a huge sample size in terms of what it looks like without Sam Laporta, but good matchup. This is a pretty weak Giants pass defense. He is number 2 in targets, so he gets a healthy amount of look. And he is obviously a deep play receiver where he can get 1 catch for like 30-something yards, and we're already halfway there in 1 play. Last 2 games, he's gotten 7 targets, so he's getting a pretty healthy amount of looks the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it one bit. Let's just see last couple games. Wide receiver versus Giants. Christian Watson at 46. That Packers game was a bit of a mess, though. Romeo Dubes at 53. Matthew Golden, 24. Bears. Roma Dunze had 86. Luther Burden, 51. It's tough because the last couple games, as you can see from the data here, you have the Packers, who their wide receiver room's a mess. The Bears, which is pretty good. DJ Moore didn't do anything. The Niners, which, again, another wide receiver room with a bunch of, it's kind of a mess. Eagles, Devontae Smith at 84. Cortland Sutton at 87. Marvin Mims 85. All right, it's good enough. I think we can add this one. I think the numbers are good enough. The matchup looks good. The usage rate looks good. We'll tail it. Over 61.5 receiving yards. I like it. All right. Let's see. What else you guys got? We need one more, and then we'll do our anytime touchdown parlay, and that'll be it. And then we'll close up because obviously this live stream is going a little longer than expected. But Andre Yasovas. Ooh, not a bad one. Okay. Chiefs, Mahomes, Gibbs. Let's see. Lock it in, AJ over yards and touchdown. I don't think anything you can lock with AJ Brown this year, if I'm being honest. Keyshawn Booty. He's coming back from injury today, so I don't know if we want to rock with Keyshawn, although it is a good matchup. Keyshawn Booty's back. I mean, we can look at the Patriots. I mean, obviously, I know off the top of my head the Bengals' pass defense is pretty bad. I mean, we can look. The Keyshawn Booty, this is his first game back from injury. So I don't know how that's going to work exactly, how that'll look. He hasn't played since November 2nd. We're just kind of looking at this for a matchup, kind of just to see what the Bengals. So 30th. Ooh, actually, receiving yards, the wide receivers are lower. So this could be, I think someone mentioned earlier Hunter Henry. This could be a Hunter Henry spot. And Ramondre is supposed to be back too. So let's see tight ends. Oh, wow. Colson Loveland, 118. Darnell Washington, 67. All right. Let's look at Hunter Henry then. Let's look at Hunter Henry. In the meantime, you guys have any other suggestions, throw them out. I'm just kind of brainstorming here on the fly because I do think this could be a good spot. All right. Obviously, we're not going this low. All right. 39.5. Not bad. Ugh. Data's not great. So far this year, 45% hit rate. Very hit or miss on him this year. But tight ends, worst defense in the NFL in terms of receiving yards, a lot of tight ends. Yeah. I don't know about this one. It's a good matchup, but it's the way they use Henry, it's very hit or miss. Alec Pierce receiving yards. Jets versus Ravens gonna be good. Ravens give a lot of everything. I was telling you. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Demario Douglas might not be a good look. Mm. He's a stud with a great matchup. So he's going to come back and get that 30. Yeah, but the Bengals pass defense actually 13th to receiving yards to wide receivers. So they're actually not as good of a matchup as you'd think on the surface. Hunter Henry has the best matchup here, and he is the second most targeted player in this Patriots offense. So 40 yards is not that much. It's really not that much. I'm going to throw this on just for myself because I do like this play. So we'll add this. And then I keep seeing Mahomes. So that'll be it. We'll look at Mahomes, and then we'll finish up with our touchdown player prop. So Mahomes. All right, I saw some people go rush. They wanted rushing yards. Some people wanted touchdown passes for him. Let's look at touchdown passes first and foremost for Mahomes here. Touchdown passes. Where are you? Oh, there we go. All right, touchdown passes. All right, 1.5. Okay, right off the bat, guys, not worth it from a value standpoint, so we'll avoid that one. Not worth it from a value standpoint. I think I said someone saw rushing yards. So let's look at that. Patrick Mahomes rushing yards. 24.5. I'll bring that down 23.5 to give him the extra yard. He's cashed in 6 of his last 10 games, averaging 28.8. Last 2, though, not too much going on there. Colts rushing yards allowed to QBs. Top 5. Yeah, so not really a good matchup spot there. So we'll avoid that. Not really a great spot. This one, we already have it in the ticket here. Over 1.5 touchdown passes. We already have that for Jacoby Brissett. So that's actually in our play sheet already. So we already have that one. JSN over in yards. Okay, we'll look at that real quick, and then we'll go to our touchdown player prop. So JSN. Oops, right there. Okay, receiving yards. Where are you? There you go. All right, 90. Oh, okay. Minus 111. Torrey Horton's out. He has cashed in 8 of his last 10 games, and you see one of the games he missed it by 2 yards versus the Cardinals. So really good numbers. I can already tell you this is going to be high. They do run the ball a lot, though, to be fair. But with Kenneth Walker banged up, maybe they go a little more into the pass. He has a 37.2% target share, so he's getting a lot of looks in this offense. They throw the ball to him a lot this year. Titans receiving yards allowed per game, 235.9, which is 20th versus wide receivers. Third worst defense in the NFL in terms of receiving yards allowed to wide receivers. So, and you look down below here, a lot of green here. Nico Collins at 92. Jaden Higgins, the rookie from the Texans, had 55. Xavier Hutchinson, 42. Keenan Allen. I'm looking for big games here. 95 for Pittman, 69 for Pierce, 17 for Douglas. I mean, all green. You see all these receivers are cashing their overs against this. The only ones who have it, Lad McConkey, and he missed it by 3 yards. And then Jalen Noel, the rookie for the Texans, Christian Kirk, like the third and fourth option, or the second and third option for the Texans passing game. So, I mean, it is a very good matchup. He is cashing it in a lot of these games. You look at the targets. He's averaging nearly 10 targets per game. And you see here, for example, like this one versus the Cardinals, it was a blowout game. He only had 6 targets, but he had 5 catches for 93 yards. So he almost got it in only 5 receptions. The problem being here, guys, is like this is a game where like the Seahawks could roll early, and it's like how much are they going to throw the football in this game if they get to a big lead? What do we think? He's having a great season for sure. He's been a godsend for this Seahawks team. All right, we'll go. I see a lot of people backing it. All right, we'll go with it. So that's it. For straight bets, we're good. We now move on to our final portion of today's live stream, which is our anytime touchdown player prop. I'm looking for 3 legs. 3 legs. Let's not get crazy here. Let's get money. Let's cash. Okay? 3 legs. Touchdowns. Fire away. Let me hear all your suggestions. I'm going to put my filters in that I'm looking for specifically. So we'll put touchdowns in here just to see what my data shows up. Looking for over. I want touchdowns. I'm looking for a hit rate. Hit rate doesn't really matter because of touchdowns. Let's look at opponent matchup favorable. Actually, we'll get rid of this because sometimes it can be a little skewed. Odds minus 1 25 is the highest I would go for a parlay, and then we'll go minus plus 1,000. All right. So that narrows it down to 241 player props in my data. And then we'll kind of go ahead and see what you guys say. All right. Comments are flooding. Let's go. What do we got? What we got? All right. Trey McBride, Kyron Williams, Bijan, Kyron Williams, Jackson Smith, Taylor. Just kind of letting you guys go for it. Kyron or Devontae, Lamar, Taylor, Derrick Henry. All right, I see. Who are the ones? All right, so Kyron and Trey McBride, I've seen a couple people do. So we'll look up that real quick. So Trey McBride. Let's go Trey. All right, so we're grabbing that for plus 105 over on Novig. So pretty good value there. By the way, shout out Novig. We have a link down below in the description. Gives you guys, when you bet $5 when using our promo link down below in the description, you get $50 in bonus bets instantly when you sign up with our promo link down below for Novig. So make sure to check it out. As you can see from today's video, a lot of the best lines you can find on these player props, on game plays, they come from Novig. So make sure to go ahead and check those out. Overall, Jacksonville, 21st in the NFL, giving up 2.8 touchdowns per game versus tight ends. Bottom 3. So this is a very good matchup for Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison's also, he's cashed this now in 5 consecutive games. He has 6 touchdown catches over his last 5 games. 60% overall this season. Really good numbers here. Obviously, he's number 1 on this team in targets by a pretty wide margin, 27.5% target share. Red zone targets, 32.3%. Wow. Let's see. Jaguars, 19th in red zone. Oh, that's offensively. Flip it. Oh, bottom 5 red zone efficiency defensively. So this is a really good spot for Trey McBride. Dolan Schultz at 1. Brock Bowers at 3. Yeah, let's do Trey McBride. All right, so we got 1. So we need 2 more. I'm rocking Trey McBride. That's a good one. That's a real good one. All right, the other one was Kyron. I see a lot of people saying Kyron, so we'll look up Kyron Williams for the Rams. By the way, guys, like I said, after I finish this, I'm going to go ahead and record. I don't think we're doing NBA today, guys. I hate to break you guys' hearts. I don't think I'm doing NBA tonight, if I'm being honest. I think, I still have to do Sunday Night Football picks after this. It's already almost 11 a.m. I do have things to do, so I do think maybe I'll do NBA tomorrow. I usually take Mondays off, but maybe I'll do NBA tomorrow and give you guys that to make up for not doing one today. But I don't think we're doing NBA today. It's just live stream's gone. I was supposed to be done at 10:30. We're already 20 minutes over. The Shador Sanders talk hurt us big time here. So Kyron, I'll be honest with you guys right off the bat. I don't love the fact that it's minus 143 on Novig. Touchdown props are not worth it to do like this big of odds. Bucks this year, 3rd. They're averaging 3 touchdowns allowed per game, 2016 versus running backs, 23rd. So it is a good matchup. He's cashed it in 7 of his last 10 games, averaging 0.9 touchdowns per game. A lot of running backs, obviously James Cook, Ty Johnson, Travion had 2, Jahmyr Gibbs had 2. Targets, he's 3rd in targets, so he actually is heavily used in the passing game as well as in the running game, red zone targets. 2nd behind Devontae. Okay, 12.9% target share. That's just in the passing game. We look at the rushing attempts. By far, 58.5% run share dominates that pie chart there. And red zone rushing attempts, 57.4. If you guys are good for it, like if you guys are fine, I can show you the odds real quick. We can add this. I don't mind because the data is very good. This has a very good chance to hit. If we go over to Novig here and add to bets. Hold on 1 second. Let me do something real quick here so I don't lose all these picks. I got to put these all in. So we'll cut that one out real quick. And where's Trey McBride? All right, real quick. I'm going to share this link, copy that, and we're going to post that somewhere for now just so we can have that saved. And now I can go ahead and clear all this out. All right. Kyron and Trey McBride. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure we get all of our picks saved. All right. So this one right now would be... What are the odds on this? Can we see the odds? Novig's not giving us odds. All right, let's go to add bet slip and we'll see what it looks like here. I want to get an idea of what, if we do Kyron, what that looks like. That's at plus 226. So those two plays right now on Novig, you do Trey McBride and Kyrie Williams plus 226. Obviously, the odds will change depending on what sportsbook you use. So we can do Kyrie if you guys want, but obviously, understanding, you're not going to get as big of a parlay there. But again, we're all about cashing. So again, if it gives us a better chance to cash, let's go for it. So we need one more then. One more. I'll give you guys like a minute while I drink my drink to go ahead and keep giving me more options. All right, one more. We need one more leg, and we'll be good to go. I did, and that's why I just said. I said I wanted to cash. I understand. When it comes to touchdown props, I'm a big time, if I'm going to do touchdown props, I would rather get like big money. But at the end of the day, though, how often do you win those? It's, the win rate's very low, so I get it. Go Beavs is giving me a lot to look at here. So Zay Flowers, George Fannin, Brenton Strange, Harold Fannin. I'll tell you right off the bat, Zay Flowers, I say this and he probably will score a touchdown, but I'd rather not because the Ravens, I feel like Derrick Henry, Lamar, they have a lot of guys who snipe touchdowns. Theo Johnson, that's the Giants tight end. Okay, well look, you say crazy value, I'll go ahead and look at it. So Theo Johnson. You're right. Plus 276 on Novig. It's pretty good. The Lions. Yeah, it's crazy value for a reason, though. He's cashed in 4 of 10. He's got 5 touchdown catches, which is not terrible, to be fair. He's second on the team targets. And it is Jameis Winston starting. And with Jameis starting, anything's possible. Red zone targets. He is number 1, 25.6. So he does get a lot of work in the red zone. He's failed to score a touchdown 9 of his last 11 on the road, though, so that's not great. We want to cash, so although I don't hate it, and if I do another touchdown prop personally, I might consider this. So I appreciate you showing me that because I don't hate it, but I'm probably going to go ahead and avoid it. Giants don't have many options right now. Fair, and it is Jameis, who is a gunslinger, so I do get the thought process behind it, but I think in our purposes here, we'll probably play it a little safer. But I don't hate it at all. All right, Tyler Warren. Okay, let's take a look at that there. Tyler Warren. Oh, shit, that's my bad. Touchdowns. Tyler Warren. All right, Tyler Warren here. Is this going to be our final one? Let's see. Tyler Warren, anytime touchdown. Good value right off the bat. All right, plus 203 on Novig. Pretty good. Kansas City, 2 touchdowns per game, 4th best in the NFL versus tight ends. 4th best. So I don't know if the matchup's that great. He's got 4 touchdowns this year. Second in targets, very close to Michael Pittman. He gets a lot of work. Red zone, 30% target share, very, very good. But tight ends versus the Chiefs, Dalton Kincaid had 1, and that's the only tight end since October 19th to score a touchdown. So I'm going to pass. But again, another one where I get the thought process, but not really that great of a matchup, if we're being honest. Travion, we're not going to touch Travion because with Ramondre back, I don't know what he's going to look like. Chiefs give up most of the tight ends, but I don't see them giving up touchdowns to tight ends, though. So I'm not sure if that's completely true. Bro, check Kyle Pitts. I'm trying to tell you. All right. You tell me. I'll check him out. Kyle Pitts. But I'm telling you right now, I don't feel good about it because Kyle Pitts has burned me so many times in the past. But the value obviously is really good. Saints 23rd in touchdowns against versus tight ends 14th. So right off the bat, not the best matchup. Dude. Come on now. With Kirk. He loves tight ends, huh? Because he's got 2 in that Bucks game and then a whole lot of nothing. So, no. Sorry, Lance. And I'm not trying to shit on you, but no. No. We are not going Kyle Pitts. No. You can. Absolutely. Go for it. And you know what? If he cashes, you can say to everyone, hey, Tasso was wrong. What an idiot. I told you. I told you Kyle Pitts, but I'm telling you, no. No Kyle Pitts. No, not doing it. AJ Barner. Okay. AJ Barner. I'm setting the clock. Game clock, 5 minutes left. We got 5 minutes to figure this out, guys. 11 a.m. We're shutting the stream off so I can go record Sunday Night Football picks. All right, AJ Barner, anytime touchdown. Plus 242. We're using Novik, so plus 242. Titans, 29th. Touchdowns allowed versus tight ends, 6th. 4 of 10 games this year. He is 3rd in targets, red zone targets. He is 1, very narrowly 1, but 1. But same thing. I mean, Austin Hooper for the Pats, the only tight end since October 19th to score a touchdown against the Titans. So we're going to decline. All right, we're still looking for that magical third, that lucky number 3 here. We're still searching. Who is going to be that guy who can give me that one? I'm going to bet. Listen, Lance, if he cashes it, if Kyle Pitts scores a touchdown, I'll give you a Fade Me t-shirt. How about that? From the Fade Me store. I'll get you a Guy Boston t-shirt. I'm going to write your name down. All right? I'm going to save that name. All right? And if he scores a touchdown, me and you have a little personal side bet. And I don't get anything back except for, obviously, the fact that I'm right. But if you're right, Lance, and Kyle Pitts scores a touchdown today, I'll get you a t-shirt. How about that? How about that? I don't want to come. I can't come at you and then not come collect, right? So, we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see. As a Seahawks fan, okay, just a word to the wise. Okay, starting off with, hey, take this bet because I am a fan of this guy and this team. Usually not going to start off on a good note because you got a little bit of bias on your side there. But Zach Charbonnet touchdown. I'm going to hold you to it. Yes, sir. Lance, if Kyle Pitts scores, you're getting a t-shirt, man. That's a promise. Okay? It's a promise. All right. Charbonnet. Tennessee. Now this is intriguing. 30th in touchdowns allowed to running backs, bottom 3. Although John Taylor had 3, and then since then the Chargers nor the Texans were able to score on them. Charbonnet has not scored a touchdown in 6 of his last 7 road games. Rushing attempts, red zone. Charbonnet does get a lot of work in the red zone, to be fair, though. He's cashed it in 56% of his games this year. I'm going to put a pin in this one because I don't hate it, but I don't want to necessarily say this is the one. NBA bets. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'll come apologize and donate. Fair enough. Fair enough. NBA bets, I don't think we're going to do it today, guys. I apologize. We still have Sunday football picks to do. Aaron Rodgers is out. I talked about that in the Oracle. I loved Chicago today from the start, regardless if he played or not. I loved Chicago today. Eric Wade, you've been commenting a lot on my NBA videos, so I'm going to give you some love here. We'll do Lamar Jackson, anytime touchdown, plus 219 over on Novik. Data probably won't be great versus quarterbacks. Not many, but obviously not a lot of quarterbacks are rushing for touchdowns. Joe Flacco, of course, would be the one on the list to have one. 9 straight games at home, he hasn't gotten a touchdown. He only has 1 this year. Eric, I'm just going to go ahead and, we got to play a little safer here, so I'm going to go ahead and avoid that. But again, Lamar Jackson, you never know. A.J. Brown or T. Higgins, Hunter Henry, Jalen Warren. Oh, guys, we got to get this figured out, guys. We're running out of time here. We need to figure out who's going to be our third. T. Higgins, come on. Who can be the guy that gives us our play? T. Higgins, plus 124 on Novik, New England. 28th in touchdowns led to wide receivers, so hold on a second. Now, Christian Gonzalez is going to be on him today, though, which is a little alarming. But John Mechie, Emeka Egbuka, Tez Johnson at 2. Drake London at 3. I mean, they're going to chuck the ball a lot. Hold on a minute. He's got a touchdown in 9 straight home games? Show me that. Show me that. Show me that. Hold on. Show me that. Hold on. Whoa. 9 straight home games. He's cashed a touchdown. He's averaging 1.44. He's got 3 home games. Can we look at the numbers for this year? 2025, only home games. 100% hit rate at home? Can I see games without Jamar? No data, so I don't really know what that looks like, but oh god, I mean that's really hard to pass up. That's really hard to pass up. Oh god, I think I got to go with that one, guys. I think I got to pick that one. I'm going to add it for now, but let's look at Hunter Henry real quick. Just to see Hunter Henry. And then I think I got it, guys. I think T. Higgins is he's got a 100% hit rate at home. Hunter Henry, anytime touchdown. Bengals, worst defense to tight ends. Worst defense to touchdowns in general. Head-to-head. Colson Love at a 2. Mason Taylor. No, I mean, I do like Hunter Henry to score a touchdown, but we have our parlay. Although I don't mind. What do we do? 4 legs here? No, nope. We're gonna stick to 3. We said 3. So here's our 3-leg parlay, guys. Here's our 3-leg parlay. All right. Kyron Williams anytime touchdown, Trey McBride anytime touchdown, and T Higgins anytime touchdown. Those are our 3 legs. And again, all these will be posted over on our website, GuyBostonSports.com. I'll also make sure to post it on the YouTube channel as well. You parlay all 3 together on Novik plus 585. So T Higgins, Trey McBride, and Kyron Williams. That's the parlay. That's it. No, don't do it. Chase the reason he gets it. Trust me, I watch him. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I do understand. And like I said, Christian Gonzalez is going to be on him. That being said, though, Drake London against Christian Gonzalez had 3 touchdowns a few weeks ago. So I think he can do it. And I also do think Hunter Henry's due. But again, in this spot, I'm going to ride with T. Higgins, who has a 100% hit rate at home in the jungle so far this season. So, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. This stream went a lot longer than I thought, but I had fun. We broke down some player props, so I have 11 straight bets, as well as our 3-leg anytime touchdown player prop parlay. And we talked to our Sanders for way too much time, but we had a lot of fun. I'm happy to do these live streams. I love talking to you guys. And actually, I had a lot of fun debating. So, we're here to break down player props, but obviously I love also just talking sports with you guys, so I love doing that as well. Thank you very much always for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next Sunday around 9 to 9:30 a.m. with another live stream. And then make sure my NFL Sunday Night Football picks video will be coming out at noontime today. So make sure to check out our NFL Sunday Night Football picks, as well as the rest of my picks, the NFL Oracle. It's the weekly pick show I do here on the channel. That video is already out. We went 8-4 last week straight bets, 5-1 on teasers. We're up over 25 units profit on that show. So make sure to watch that if you haven't already. I have like a ton. I think I handed out, 12 straight bets, 2 parlays. So that's 14. I handed out almost 20 picks in that video this week. So if you guys want more picks, go ahead and check that out. Like I said, Sunday Night Football picks one more time coming out in about an hour. So guys, that's it. Until next week, I hope you're all winners. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Sunday morning. Let's go ahead, guys, and make some money, baby. Let's go. Happy Sunday. Enjoy your NFL football.